so our English people can understand what I'm saying, what is going on. Okay, the real world 9800X3D should be the fastest processor in the world right now. Let's see what he's talking about. 4 hours ago, I think I'm
Back
waiting
when I
to
first
someone.
reviewed the Ryzen 7
that's not bad.
9800X3D, I contributed to all the hoo-ha around that product, showing it to be on average 11% faster for gaming when compared to the 7800X3D, 27% faster than the Core i9 14900K, 33% faster than the Core Ultra 9 285K, 39% faster than the much-loved 5800X3D,
Imagine
and
a Unios or
41%
is a
faster
racer?
than the Core
Damn.
i9 12900K. But that was all at 1080p. And I've since learnt that that's not how these CPUs.
I mean, if Vijay was a racer, I don't think he could have been a good actor. Vijay became popular because of his dance, you know? But Ajit got him into an accident and he couldn't dance very well after that, you know? So if Vijay is hit by his specialty, he's kind of fucked. So I think Vijay wouldn't be a better actor and a racer, but he maybe could have been a better racer, you know? Like, Vijay's weakest link is his acting. Like, nobody liked his acting when he started out.
Tested. Now, look, I have to admit, I did initially push back against the criticism. It was difficult to admit that we'd misled our audience into thinking they needed the 90.
What I have buys 4090 and buys this CPU use on a 1080p monitor screen, it wasn't the place esports straight up. If you are playing a esport game, this is exactly what you do. You buy a 300Hz monitor, and then you buy a 4090, and then a freaking 9800X3D, and then you play the games on that one, you know? On a 1440p. That's exactly what they do. You still got...
It was difficult to admit that
I don't know what that
is.
I get that.
Into thinking they needed
Not understand.
the 9800X3D for the ultimate gaming experience. Because after all, most of you are playing at resolutions greater than 1080p, which explains why so many viewers were up in arms about the lack of 4K benchmarking. So,
I mean, he kind of gave this explanation so many times. Like, he's doing that so you can have a better idea. If you have a future GPU, like a 6090 or something, if you put it in there, it gives you a better idea of what kind of bottleneck you can expect from that, you know?
after
GG.
making multiple videos defending our choice for low-resolution CPU testing, I'm finally willing to admit that I was wrong. And, you know, better late than never, right? So today we're re-evaluating the gaming performance of the 9800X3D at 4K, the way it is meant to be benchmarked. And no, I'm not talking about 4K with upscaling. I've already made that mistake, and boy, was it not well received. So I'm relieved to inform you that we are testing at native 4K, none of that fake resolution trickery nonsense. True 4K, all of the pixels. So then, let's get into all the glorious blue bar graphs, shall we?
Can't wait to see it on 60
Rivals,
FPS.
we see that the RTX
It hits
5090
100?
is good for 105 FPS at 4K, and that means the 9800X3D is just 4% faster than the 5800X3D, or 11% faster if we look at those 1% lows.
Yeah, at that point you were massively GPU bored, like it doesn't matter what you put it on. Look at this. This is a 6-core processor, a 7800X. You can buy this for like 20,000, I think. And this is a 8-core one. This is a 24-core, I think. Maybe even higher, I don't remember. So, you can see it barely has like, how many FPS? 4 FPS difference, right? But if you use it on real life, this processor will destroy this in real life scenarios. You know? So it's this kind of a benchmark is kind of useless in real life scenarios right now. Like I would recommend, always you should aim for a higher amount of cores if you do anything that's remotely multitasking. Unless you are an esports player, you need more cores. Like, You don't. Windows is not as operating system that. What do you call it? Let me think. How do I phrase it? Well, Windows is not an operating system that uses less cores anymore. Windows 11 is deliberately made to make use of the Intel's new processors, which have big little cores, right? So it has it deliberately constructed to make use of multiple cores. So if you are still stuck in the Stone Age and use 8 cores, you're gonna tank. Really are. You know? I would recommend, in my opinion, X3D chips is only useful if you play esports or a game that specifically benefits from that, like VR set or something. But overall, in a general, I will highly recommend you to get a CPU that has minimum 12 cores if you do any sort of multitasking. Multitasking means watching a video on the side, Discord, and then you play a game, right? That is a multitasking. That's not a single task. Even that, you need more cores for it.
But also, that meant the 9800X 3D
Cortado,
was a mere
hello.
1.5%
How are you doing?
faster than
Like yesterday you saw my stream, right? Like I made a big mistake thinking X3Ds are good for multitasking. I then bought that. God, it bite me super bad. Like it just chunks at 100% all the time.
processors such as the 14900K
I need more
and
cores.
7800X 3D. So pretty unimpressive results then from the new Zen 5 based 3D Vcache processor. The performance gains in Black Myth Wukong at 4K with ray tracing enabled are even less.
Like look at this. Like there's literally no difference. Like it's basically he just control C and control V in the bottom half. Like because at that point his GPU bothered. Like he's running the game off of GPU now. CPU slipping.
Less impressive. Here all CPUs allowed for just 34 FPS with the same 25 FPS 1% lows. So you might as well just buy the 7600X for console-like gaming. It's the same story in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Yeah. Look at that. He knows this graphs are stupid and then he just literally wants to troll the comment section. Look at this guy.
The
Pro gamer
9800X
level.
3D is no faster than the 7600X or 5800X 3D at 4K, so real-world testing shows no performance gains. Now, in Assetto Corsa Evo, we're looking at well over 100 FPS, and yet the
Wow.
9800X 3D is again no faster than the 7600X and 5800X 3D. And I doubt anyone wants to play a video game like this at more than 120 FPS. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is also limited to just 100 FPS at native 4K using the very high quality ray tracing settings, and again the 9800X 3D offers nothing here. So I guess you could just get the 7600X or possibly an even slower
I have Ryzen
/
7
cheaper CPU
5800X.
and spend the money you
Nice.
save on some RGB goodness. Balin says that's what he'd
It's a
do
good
anyway.
CPU. It's still a good
Starfield does
CPU.
max out the 5800X 3D, but even so the 9800X 3D was just 8% faster on average, so nothing like the 39% average seen in our previous misleading 1080p testing. We all know
It always
Cyberpunk
depends on the use
2077
case,
Phantom
though.
Liberty
That's
plays
good.
best at
Yeah.
sub-60 FPS frame rates.
I mean, I
so
basically
again,
have the same
9800X
CPU.
3D
I just
isn't
have extra
required
3D
here, as
X3D.
the RTX
That's it.
5090 is only good for 50 FPS on average when using the Ultra RT preset. And at this level of performance can be unlocked with a 7600X.
And then the problem with the X3D, like if the game benefits from it, you will benefit kind of good. But some games doesn't benefit from it whatsoever.
The lower the frame rate, the better in Alan Wake 2.
You know, at that point, a game that needs something like that, you need lot power from it, like the Intel or the non-X3 versions of the shit. You know, at that point, once the X3D, the case is out of the picture, what you need is hard single thread performance. But I think with the 5000 series, AMD kind of messed it up with their single thread performance. But the newer processor they are making are catching up very well. You know?
This allows for that cinematic feel. So 33 FPS on average is great, and it means the 7600X is as good as the 9800X 3D. Avatar, though, will create some head spins at almost 90 FPS, and you can unlock this extreme level of performance with even the 7600X and 5800X 3D. So again, yet another example where the 9800X 3D is unnecessary, useless even. Now, despite playing at 4K with the GPU limited RT settings enabled, Hogwarts Legacy is still pretty hard on the 285K. I'm not sure why the Core Ultra 9 processor is so bad here, but after multiple retests using both Windows 11 23H2 and 24H2, these are the best results I received, and it saw the 9800X 3D offering a 15% performance boost, though it could only match the 7800X 3D, so still a bit useless there. Stalker 2 also doesn't require a 9800X 3D. You can render 74 FPS with a 285.
I would say the better idea would be my idea for an ideal PC like this. If you buy a 9800X 3D and a 4090 or a 5090, build a PC with that and then get a second PC and then connect both of them and stream from the second PC. So that way you can have more frame rate on your main computer and use your secondary computer for extra stuff like your OBS, Discord, other bullshit you run on the background, soundboard. Like if you're a streamer, 8 cores is not good anymore, like straight up. I don't know why AMD is still stuck on like 2015 and it's selling as 8 cores in 2025. But for multitasking, you definitely need at least 12. Like if you say it's just not possible. Like it's not gonna happen. It really depends on the game. But if you're aiming for higher FPS, like 300 FPS, you definitely need a second PC. Like it just. I know this processor is way faster than what I have now, but I don't still trust the dud cores it has. At all. It's gonna age like milk. My processor aged like milk. I bought it like 6 months ago or something, and then it shows its age so much. I can just pull up my whenever I launch a game, I can just show my task manager, and then you can see it will be chugging at 100%. Highly recommended to go more cores if you can afford it. If you can't, no problem. But I wouldn't put $400 to buy a X3D chip that has 8 cores. No, don't do that. Big mistake.
Or 7800X 3D. So whichever one of those you think has the coolest looking retail.
Like if I get the chance to get one of this or this, I will go with this. No questions asked. Because I'm a streamer and I multitask as well. So I need more cores. I would not buy this whatsoever. Cooling to the cell? In Intel, it's always runs hard because it uses more power. But AMD, the cooling is good. They actually improved with 9800X 3D with that in 3D cache. So instead of putting the cache above the processor node, they put it below the processor node. So that the process, like the CCB, I think, it will have the direct cooling from the heat spreader. Man, I can't say the word spread for some reason.
Packaging, probably just get that. Star Wars Outlaws is another game that's mostly GPU limited in our testing, and therefore the 9800X 3D isn't nearly as good as we first thought.
Wait, 28? I think this processor has 24 cores or something.
Delivering similar performance to all other CPUs tested.
Okay, this shows off for Walker.
Finally, we have Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and here the 9800X 3D allowed for 84 FPS, which is the same performance seen from the 7800X 3D, and this made it up to 5% faster than the 7600X and 5800X 3D. So there we go. Under real-world test conditions, using a GPU most people are realistically going to buy, because it's the...
I mean, if you're spending this amount of money, why the hell you even care about the power, heat, and everything? If you are spending this amount of money on a computer, you probably have air conditioning on your home, and you don't really give a shit about electricity bills whatsoever. So might as well go for Intel, you know? You might as well experience the that of both worlds, you know? And then have like a freaking diesel generator next to your computer. So whenever you want to power on power on your PC, you can just turn on the diesel generator to power your Intel and then the 5090. You know? Because both of them uses so much power. You need a transformer for that shit. You know? Stupid. Like, come on. 600 or 800 watts now for a GPU. And for a CPU, it uses at least 300. You need 1,000 watt minimum power supply for those kind of stuff. Good luck running those on an inverter. You know, it's going to trip your power so hard every time the power goes out. Let me show you what you need to power a PC that's with this kind of specification. Get one of these and you'll be fine. And then you can cool the computer with this fan. Good luck.
Best. The 9800X 3D is just 3% faster on average than the 7600X or 5800X 3D, so that's pretty disappointing stuff. What this tells us though, what we've learned here, what we can glean from these results that we wouldn't have known otherwise, is that if you want a game at around 60 FPS, the CPU doesn't really matter too much, and the 9800X 3D isn't as good as all those reviews told you.
No, that is not true at all. Like, it does matter even at 4K. Like, if you think it doesn't, you are kind of delusional and you don't use your computer. Like, it still matters at 4K, but it doesn't matter as much as you think it is. You know? It's not like when you run the game at 4K, magically every other background process in your computer just consists of WAF or anything. It's not a console. Even if you run it at 4K, at the end of the day, you are running it on a computer. It does have background task. Background task doesn't run on thin air. It needs computer cores. It means a physical process that's happening on the background. Like, come on, use your brain. You know, unless you just have a single 4K monitor and you turn off everything behind your computer and then run that single game with a controller or something. And you know, like, it's just, I don't know why people
And worse still, you
don't
might actually
realize that at
wasted your
all.
money if you bought the 9800X 3D. So let's go.
Yeah, you kind of wasted your money if you bought the 9800X 3D because it's a 8-core processor. I hate 8-core processor. Like, they can just groom you saying it's the best, fastest processor. As soon as you run something in the background, that fastness is what think. It's fast as doing one thing. That's it.
Look at the cost per frame data.
It's a one-trick
That's
pony.
true or not? Well, in terms of value, the 9800X 3D, it's not very good. It's 55% more expensive per frame than the 7600X. So just get the Ryzen 5 processor. The 7600X really is the ultimate gaming CPU. Similar performance to the 9800X 3D, 7800X 3D, 14900K and 285K, but it's loads cheaper. And that's why, at the end of 2024, we named it as the best budget CPU for new system builds. So we were at least right about that. But maybe we should have said the best gaming CPU, period. So there you have it. The 9800X 3D is far too expensive for what it is, and under real-world 4K gaming conditions, it is no faster than previous generation CPUs. It's almost like if you're GPU limited, CPU performance doesn't really matter. And I'm glad it's now on me to determine just how GPU limited your GPU limited gaming should be, and I've decided as GPU limited as possible. So with that, I'm going to end the video. I'm your host, Steve. See you again next time.
Yeah, better get one of these. You're welcome.